old mantra that you ever get told at school, there's no such thing as a dumb question, which is incorrect. There is a lot of stupid questions out there. But it was like, what is your advice? And Tim and I were both like, just give up. Find something else.
About product, we started selling and we got through it pretty quickly. So how many units did we order? We ordered, I don't remember.
It was a fair,
50,000?
yeah.
So we ordered about 50,000 units.
Really?
Sachets.
Yeah.
50,000 the
Your
first
face.
time. Welcome to Call Me Didi. I'm your host Diva.
And I'm your host Sanchi, and let's get into today's episode. This is our second last episode in Melbourne, and today we have Tim and Liam with us from Bae Juice.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Morning from sunny Melbourne. Look at that view.
beautiful.
It's actually a shit view, that, isn't it, really? There's not much exciting happening over there.
Thanks for having us. Good to be here.
Thank you for coming on. Tim and Liam are founders of Bae Juice, which is a company that sells juice, which basically helps you not have hangovers later, right?
Correct.
Correct? Okay,
Yep.
great.
Hangover prevention.
Prevention.
Yeah.
Hangover prevention.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. Why don't you guys tell us more about it and what got you to found Bae Juice as well?
Yeah, cool. We'll go from the start. I've got multiple versions, like small, medium, and large. We'll do like an in-between small and medium, I reckon, for this. But essentially, about 7 years ago now, our other co-founders, Sumin and I, were in a relationship. So we're no longer in a relationship. But I was traveling through South Korea, visiting her family at the time. And we were drinking every single day. Like, Korean culture is just drinking. Soju, all the different flavoured wines, you name it. It's just so part of what they do, from celebrating to business to friendship, everything. And I was pretty hungover most of the time until we started stopping at little convenience stores, and Sumin and all of her girlfriends were drinking this little Korean pear juice drink. So I thought it was super, super strange. Like, we'd stop at a convenience store, drink pear juice, then go out. Very weird, right? Like, it's not your normal routine. And I kept waking up really good, being like, I've been feeling great in the morning. And then her and her mum were like, yeah, it's the pear juice. And I was like, what? And like, yeah, the pear juice. So did a bit of research. There's actually an enzyme inside the Korean pear called DHM, and it helps metabolize and detoxify alcohol faster. So you drink the pear juice, drink alcohol, and you wake up fresher. And I was mind blown. Like, a natural juice and a product can help your hangover, which is the worst problem in the world almost. I shouldn't say that, actually. One of the worst problems in the world. And it's fixed by a juice. And it was cheap and it was yummy. And then we were like, wow, this is a really, really cool concept. So then we became obsessed with it. So I went back to Australia. Liam's been my best friend for 20 years. We've always looked for different business ideas together. And we're like, this is the one. This is it. Especially because it related to our lifestyle a lot, because we love drinking, we love partying, we love going out, we're a little bit wild. Perfect. So yes, and then from then on we had a lot of back and forwards from Korea and found a manufacturer, and I just organised all of it, set up a business, set up a website, registered everything, and then had a 20-foot container come from South Korea and arrive here in Melbourne, and we distributed it and had our sort of kick off from then on, really. So that was January 2019 we launched. So yeah, that was it. So from Korea, drinking, hangovers, study, went back, got the product, launched a year later. So it was pretty wild. Like, yeah, it was just that kind of like click moment.
That's crazy. You mentioned something that the Korean pear has something in it that is. So is it specific to just that pear,
Yep.
and you don't get it anywhere else in the world?
Just Korean pear. Thankfully, because then everyone else will be doing it, so it's great. So I'm very glad it's just that. But just the Korean pear, and the Korean pear is really big and yellow. So we've had to educate the whole of Australia on what a Korean pear is, which is very difficult.
And in Korea, is it just something that people drink like regularly, or is
Yes.
are there brands out
Yeah.
of it as well?
Yeah, so Sumin grew up drinking it every morning.
It's
So,
very
yeah.
habitual over there.
Yeah.
And I think the response from Sumin and her Korean friends when we didn't understand that the Korean pear helps with hangovers, they were sort of baffled by that, as if, to say, how'd you guys not know about that?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it seems like it's very like knowledge, you understand it as a Korean from early on. It's a bit of like Chinese medicine-y kind of,
True.
you know, sort of, and they use the Korean pear actually. It's a bit of a superfood over there. They use it for a lot of different things.
Really?
It's a natural sweetener in food. They use it in kimchi over there. If you heard of kimchi, they eat a lot of that.
You mentioned something that you had to educate people a lot about this in Australia and it wasn't here. So it's technically like a category creation that you're doing, like entering into the market with something that's completely new and
Yes.
unknown to the market.
Spot
How
on.
did you do that?
That was the hardest bit, and we always say that's sort of like the risk versus reward. The hardest bit was educating people with a new product, but the reward was we're the only people and we're the first to market with it. So even now, like with competitors coming, Bae Juice was still the first ever Korean pear juice and hangover drink, so it's always our little go-to thing. But educating the market was hard. We had to do it through sort of storytelling, like we are doing right now.
Yep.
A lot of PR. So we had our Daily Mails, our broadsheets, everything, news.coms. We sort of went really crazy with all of our storytelling to say, hey, we went and found it in Korea. It's a Korean pear. This is what it does. So that was very important. People weren't just going to pick it up randomly and just read it, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So
and-
we punched out a lot of PR and media.
Yeah, and on that as well, we were sort of fortunate we got some runs on the board in retail quite quickly within the first 18 months. But to like as part of the education piece, you have to be quite industrious because you know there's compliance and things like that. We can't mention. We can't basically say on our product that this cures hangovers or a hangover. We can't mention the H word at all, really.
We're not meant to.
We're not meant to. On the packaging.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have to sort of put the dots out there and let the consumer join it up. Because when you're on the shelf at Woolies, it was a big deal for us, of course. But then you sort of start to see the power of it when you sort of put your product on promotion and it's almost like sampling your product. Like there's a lot of eyes on your product when you've got it on the shelf at a retail like Woolies and Coles. So there's, you know, we made a lot of packaging changes. We used to have wellness after badness on there, which is not even a word. So we have Bae Before You Play now, and it's drink before alcohol, because that was sort of, we were getting a lot of feedback with people having it post drinking, and so we sort of just dumbed it down, and it worked.
I feel like it's like copy there will be like key for you guys to like you not using the word hangover on your packaging or even on your media, I reckon. And like trying to tell people that you drink it before. Like I got to know about your product in a retail fest in Gold Coast.
Nice.
Yeah,
Did you get it gifted to you at a booth?
So I was just we also put it in a booth there. So I was working with a marketing agency at the time.
Nice.
And I was just roaming around. They were like, "Are you gonna do a lot of drinking tonight?" I was like, "What? No, I don't drink." And so
Good, have this thing.
and they were like, "It's okay. You still give it a go. Like you won't get any hangovers. Is it because you will get hangovers? If you drink this, then you won't get any." I was like, "Okay." Then I was like,
Good
"My
sales.
team." Yeah, I was like, "Take it to my team. They will all love this product."
That's good sales from them. I love
Yeah.
it. That's so good.
When you did found the business, like you've gone to Korea, you've developed the product. I want to understand, how did you guys decide what like your first shipment and what the size of that should be? Because I back in the day founded a small business where I was packaging chai at home, and I was trying to sell it, on a
Nice.
website, and I obviously had like $1,000 to
Yeah,
do
yeah,
everything,
yeah.
right? But I realized that like selling it online, like you can run meta ads and stuff, but I was selling it for $20, right? Like that plus shipping, like it's a bit hard to sell online, especially if it's a food and beverage product.
Yeah.
Can you walk me through the journey of one, how did you decide the shipment? And did you have like a go-to-market strategy planned ahead of when you launched, or were you just like figuring it out as you went?
Figured it out.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I was talking about it recently. Like, I would love to go back and do a business plan. I think business plans are great, and having a strategy is great, but we didn't. We didn't have one at all. I think the first year was we were just drinking and working like full time, and we were 24. We didn't really give a shit about much, and we were just cruising. And like, we sold it a little bit, some online sales. And then we're like, hold on, what are we doing? Like, this is a great product. Everyone's loving it after a while. And we're like, let's really go for it. But that first shipment, to go back to that time, we'd spend all the money until we needed to pay for the shipment. So we were sort of like just like la-di-da-di-da. Let's get the website. Let's do this. Let's do that. Oh, cool. Yeah, we'll get the logo done. We'll do the legals. We'll get the contract. Oh shit, we need to pay $40,000. Oh. And like we've been doing like $1,000 payments, thinking that was huge. So we needed to pay like 40. I think it was 45,000. No.
Yeah, about that 37 or 40, I think.
Yeah, about $40,000 we'll call it. We need to pay for our first shipment, and we never need the money. You're like, oh, damn. Like, and then I found a photo which I sent to Sumin on Friday. Was a picture of her dad in the bank signing over $40,000 to us to pay for the first shipment. So he'd watched us firsthand for the 9 months, build the brand, come up with the idea, visit manufacturers twice, put the whole concept together, all the strategy and everything. And he goes, you know what, like, I'll back you.
Yeah.
So he paid for the first shipment. Like, we would have been able to figure it out, but it was pretty special. He goes, we'll pay for the first shipment. And then it arrived, and we gave out product. We started selling, and we got through it pretty quickly. So how many units did we order? We ordered, I can't remember.
So, yeah, it was a fair...
50,000?
Yeah, it's
So we
something
ordered
like that.
about 50,000 units.
Really?
Little sachets.
Yeah.
50,000
But-
the
Your
first
face.
time. Like, really?
One of the reasons...
Yeah, we just were waiting for it.
One of the reasons we did that was we were quite fortunate. Tim's family run a cafe in Essendon, own a cafe there. And one of the customers there was sort of worked closely with 7-Eleven on products, and I don't know if you've seen the Bell's red ice bags that you buy from service stations here. And we were sort of dabbling, we'll get a couple thousand units to sample, and he was just like, nah, you just got to figure a way out to get a container of it here.
That's the all in or nothing kind of
So-
mentality.
Yeah, and then back to the business plan, like we didn't have anything down on paper, and yes, it's true that we didn't know what we were doing to an extent, but I think we still knew some certain like important things that we had to do, like media and PR was one of them. And then we were thinking, let's just go door to door and sell it. We wanted to look busy at the start. Anybody who wanted some, we gave them some. Share a story, all that kind of stuff. We wanted to look really busy on social media, and then naturally it was like, wow, this is a juice that can belong anywhere on any shelf, because it's just so there's so many different avenues for it. We were thinking we can be sold in a grocery shop, in a alcohol store, we can be sold at a nail salon, like all these different so we did have some sort of idea, we just didn't have a nice pretty business plan written down.
True.
So
Yeah.
What's the shelf life like?
18 months from manufacturing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Game changer.
Yeah,
So
very nice.
for two young dudes, 24 years old, we got so lucky. So we don't pay GST because it's a natural juice. You don't pay GST on anything over 90% juice.
Yeah.
We have a free trade agreement, so there's
With
zero
Korea,
taxes with Korea. 18 months shelf life. Doesn't need to be chilled. So,
Yeah.
but we didn't know any of this stuff before. So everyone's like, geniuses. What a great product. You guys are so clever for targeting a juice in that 4 categories. Like, yeah. Like we would be.
I reckon
if it wasn't for all those
there was
things.
there was a girl that reached out to us early days as well, and she sort of had some sort of immunity shot kind of vibe thing, and had like an 8-day shelf life. And she was
Yeah.
like, "What is your advice?" And Tim and I were both like, just give up.
Yeah.
Find something else."
No, like,
But,
it
that's
stressed
what-
me out hearing it. Let alone
Oh.
imagine owning that business.
Yeah.
It was so stressful.
I would find
so
something
we're
out.
very lucky. But
Very fortunate.
All the fundamentals for our product were perfect for 3 people with no idea what they were doing at the start. We got very lucky.
That is absolutely
You guys really nailed it.
I have so many questions, but I think like what I love the most about you guys is that you're so chill. Like you're like,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out,
But,
which
we
is
always
how
have
it
been.
should be, right? Like when
Yeah.
you start something, it's just everything is figure outable. If
Yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know.
Sure. Yeah,
And
well
you
said.
just put one step in front of the other and you'll get there. But you guys, I also don't see you guys as like the conventional business owners, wearing suits.
No, I'm covered in
and-
tattoos. We drink and smoke. Well, that's a business person.
The stress comes. It does come.
Yeah,
It, I feel sorry for our partners because it comes normally at night in bed when you're looking at the ceiling and your head's twitching over. But like, it's always just problem solution for us. When you break it down, it's kind of not easy, but you can see the light at the end of the tunnel more often than not. And being a founder is just putting out spot fires. You know, the most nerve-wracking period as a founder is when everything's going really well. That's when it's like,
True, actually. We should say that more.
Yeah.
That's good. That's really good. But when we're in like our early 20s, we just asked everyone questions. Cause we didn't know what we were doing, but because we were loud and confident, there's no denying that, I'll just ask everyone anything. And I think that was the key for us to sort of relate to your audience. I didn't go to university. You lasted half a day. But so to learn, I just asked anyone. Went, hey mate, do you have 5 minutes? Excuse me, I knew a friend of a friend. He's proteins in Chemist Warehouse. Hey, could I speak to you for 15 minutes? How do you work out your costs?
yeah.
And what do you sell it to them at and why? Oh, hey dude, what's going on, man? Long time no speak. Here you go. Cool. Glad I asked that guy. You know, and then the next person, go meet like a marketing agency. You sit there for an hour, they pitch you. Yeah, I'm not sure. Ask someone else. Does this look good? Nah, you're getting ripped off. Okay, cool. Thanks. I don't know.
It's the old mantra that you ever get told at school, there's no such thing as a dumb question, which is incorrect. There is a lot of stupid questions out there. But the ability the ability to be out, sometimes you just need to know the answer to that dumb question. So.
Yeah. True.
Sometimes you've just got to ask the dumb
Yeah,
question.
exactly.
Thank God for ChatGPT now. You can do a little dumb question on the side.
And delete your
Ask a
history.
question and be like, is this going to be a dumb question?
Yeah.
Yeah, too good.
That would actually be a good business. Imagine doing a chat GPT, but calling it specifically for dumb questions.
There you go.
Dumb question bot.
You know what I did a few days ago? I was like, I'm also launching business. I launched a business last year, and
Amazing.
I'm trying to grow it in different areas. So I was like, I'm not sure how I can scale it and grow it on a digital platform, right? So I told ChatGPT, this is my business, this is my theme. These are the ways I think I can earn money. I'm more interested in this, and this. I want to earn this much money by this date, okay? And I think I'm gonna do marketing through TikTok and Instagram all organically because I do not have money right now. Yeah. So, can you
ChatGPT
please...
be like, fucking hell.
Right? And then I was like, can you please give me a full-blown business plan, step by step? What do I need to do? How much do I need to price myself? And where do I start? And it did. It was like, in April, you launch your one-on-one consulting calls for $55. Once you book in 10 calls, you increase your price to $77. Then in May, you do this, and then this is what you do. And then in April, this is what you do. And then in the end, it gives me a table. It gives me a table, and it tells me, in this month, you'll be able to earn this much from this activity. And in this much, you'll be able to increase it. And by this month, you'll be able to do this. And by this month, you'll be able to...
so far?
Yeah.
Are you losing money?
I've just started, okay? I was like,
Okay.
I've just
It's
started.
still April.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah.
Right?
One of an advisor of ours said you should be asking ChatGPT 10 questions a day.
Yeah.
I was like, that's really good, actually. And since I've been doing it, I feel a lot more educated in all the dumb little things I've been thinking about I have answers to. So there you go. It's pretty good, isn't it?
It is. It is so good. Anyway, you mentioned something in the start that you founded the business with one of your partners at the time, and they're not your partners anymore.
Yeah.
How is it running a business with your ex-partner and your best friend together?
Good. At the moment, it's good.
Okay.
At the start, it was pretty chaotic.
Okay.
Then Liam was in the crossfire of it all because we all lived together. So me, Sumi, and Liam all lived in a house together.
Whoa.
It's like us, we live together, but I guess it's different.
So imagine having a boyfriend in the mix and then you guys separating and owning a business together. Super spicy, right? Yeah. But yeah, at the time it was dreadful. It was so full on. Sumi was very isolated because she's from Korea and she was stuck in Melbourne lockdown. Then I moved out. Liam stayed for a while. Liam moved out. So it was all a very difficult breakup. It definitely was. We were together for 5 years. And had a business, and our lives were very intertwined, of course, and lived together. So, it was pretty tough at the start, but now we all work together very harmoniously. We've got a group chat, speak every single day. We have weekly meetings. She's living in Bali now. She's got a partner, lives in Bali, just cruising, doing her own little lifestyle there, which is awesome. And then organising our manufacture and our orders and our new products as well. So, at the start, difficult. Now, amazing. Everything's super, super, super chill. She comes back to Melbourne quite frequently.
Yeah.
lots of friends, and like she'll come to Melbourne and like go and see my family, to be honest. So it's very nice. And then my partner now, we've been together for about 5 months. She thinks it's awesome what we did together. So like I'm very lucky that I got an amazing partner now, because like you got to think about it, like having a girlfriend now, working with your ex-girlfriend every single day, like, you know, like you're only human to think the fuck.
But I think them living in a different country helps.
Yeah. You're telling me.
Right.
Yeah, because I've had multiple partners between when Sumin and I broke up till now, and early ones were a struggle because it was like fresh and like, because like we still go to the media going, oh, like, and everyone just says that we're still like we're still together, and there's pictures of like me and Sumin and Korea with her family like this, so it's a bit hard like just to try and sell the story for a benefit to the business.
Yeah.
But still having to do it to benefit the business comes at a bit of a random cost sometimes. But no, my partner Caitlin now is amazing with it. She thinks it's so cool. So I'm very lucky to have a partner think it's awesome. Instead of being like, oh, I'm a bit salty, she's like, so cool what you guys did. So I'm very lucky. Yeah, but it's wild.
Yeah, that's great. I feel like it takes so much emotional intelligence and maturity to go through this process and still like work through those challenges and not be like insecure and bring your inner thoughts, feelings and emotions to your business. Like
yeah,
it was a full-on journey for you. Like
it's good though, but like, because I think the brand benefited because we got a lot of PR early because of that story with Tim and Sumin, and in fact we were trying to get an article. This is what trying to get an article is like these days is very, very hard, especially, you know, the platforms we like to get on with lots of eyeballs, Daily Mail, news.com.au. We're sitting there talking about stories, and I said, oh, fuck it, why don't we just go to them and say, here's what it's like to run a business with my ex-girlfriend, and then bang, journalist bit like that. So we have benefited a lot from both, you know, because we sold the story of the Tim and Sumin together.
$1 million idea couldn't hold relationship together.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And then because it was news.com, it funneled into like 10 different other publications.
Yeah.
And it was just like not quite the perfect pear.
I love
And
that.
I was like, sassy.
So
that was recently.
They're
And then I'm-
copywriters.
Yeah.
Dead or dead.
And then I'm sharing on LinkedIn and my Instagram recently about my breakup.
Yeah.
3 years ago. Weird, but you just gotta roll with it sometimes.
So whilst it's had challenges in-house, it's also we've also managed to benefit from the relationship and the breakup.
Yeah.
But what's working with each other like? Because you guys have been friends for 20 years
Yeah.
now, and
Yeah.
you've been best friends, and we actually live together. We were really good friends, and we live together, we do this together, we host at our house now. So we know what working with, you know, your friend is like, and sometimes this can get in the way of friendship. How's that journey been for you guys?
It's been smooth.
Pretty smooth, yeah.
Been really smooth.
Never hated each other and been...
Nah, furthest from that.
Nah.
Might be some passive aggressive comments, more likely from me.
Yeah.
But besides
Good
that,
at it. He's good at it.
besides, is that her?
Yeah.
not her, but she's just like, I know what you mean.
Yeah. I didn't realise I'm doing it, and now that I'm in a relationship, I think I realise to do these little passive aggressive little kicks. But no, it's been smooth. That we both like the same sports. We both like going to pubs. We both like doing all the same stuff. So we still do that.
Yeah.
But we just work together as well and try to build a business at the same time.
Are you able to switch off? Like, do you have to actively be like, let's put our friend cap on, now let's put our business cap on?
Nah, we never need to do that,
No.
ever. We've never had to. And then, so I think part of our, like, minor success so far, still lots to do, is just being the same we are all the time. So when we go to a meeting, like we went and met with a big retailer the other day, and Liam wore a pale blue Adidas tracksuit, and I wore this purple pink camo top, and we went in there hot, like everyone's in suits, and he's in an Adidas tracksuit that's like pale blue, and it was just ridiculous, and like we were the most colourful people ever in this meeting. And we're just always like that. Like we'll go to the pub, we'll do all of our work, and we'll have a few drinks. But we've been a lot healthier lately. I know we're sort of promoting, like, you know, we're a bit wild, but we've been super healthy lately. But always talk about sport, talk about a multi we put on the weekend, how our tipping's going. We just talk crap all day, but then just run a business as well. It's great.
And like, it's just the old adage of like, you know, don't get into business with your family or friends. And like, yeah, there's a lot of failures in that, and a lot of friendships that are broken up, and families that are now, you know, fighting with one another. But you just never hear about the good success stories with that.
Right.
So, and I'm sure they're out there. So just each to their own, I guess.
That's so cool.
I think it's also about like, you know, sometimes you just naturally work really well with a few people, and it work like you can't put it into words how it works. It just works.
Bingo.
Right?
It's
similar with us. Like, we complement each other so well. Like,
Totally.
she'll be able to understand when I'm down and she'll take over, and I'll be able to understand when she's a bit down and I'll take over. And then like naturally, like when I'm not able to speak, or I'm like, oh, I don't know what's happening with me, she'll be able to take it over and like be like, okay, yeah. And like it naturally happens. We don't have to like push it or anything, and it just works.
Yeah.
That's spot on. I don't think I've ever been able to put it like that, but what you said. I honestly, and whether it's we're sick or we're tired or hungover or just flat, you're right. It is a nice ebb and flow with each other, just naturally.
I just
you don't
asked.
have to ask.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
I just asked ChatGPT. I'm like, what do I do with my best friend and business partner as being a dick?
Flight mode.
I'm only kidding.
That's
too good.
Funny. Wait, you mentioned something that you wore like the most casual clothes in the very professional meeting, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like the way that you're so chill in comparison to a conventional entrepreneur should be, right? When you're in big rooms like that, when everybody expects you to be a certain way, but you're not, do you feel like that they not take you very seriously?
Never.
Nah.
No, never. Because we've done our homework, we know what we're doing now, we've got the runs on the board. We always say that sentence a lot, but we've got the runs on the board. So we're the third best performing beverage in our section in Woolworths. There's 30,000 products there. There's about 60 in our category. And it's one of Australia's biggest grocery stores. And we're the third best performing functional beverage in that whole little juice and section. So we're not winging it. You can't wing that. If you know what I mean, you can't just fluke it. Maybe you can for the first couple of weeks. So we go in there, we're loud, and that's what they want. But then we also know exactly what they want commercially. We're going to drive velocity to your store. We're going to bring the exact demographic which we do our homework on. This is how we're going to target them to come to your store. Here's our 3 key pillars that we've been focusing on. So we come in loud, but we're very articulate. We know exactly what they want to hear.
Yeah.
And they want loud because all the other products that perform well and sit there, like think about like a daily juice or a boring product like Doritos. They don't need to do much, and they don't really try. They're not very innovative. They're just meh. So like the larger retailers love people like us because we come and bring energy to the store, and we make these bigger companies go, hey, like we probably should do something. Yeah. So we run around like crazy people. Retailers love it. So they want what we're offering, and I think as product owners, it's very good to be the loud, crazy type because you get eyeballs, people get connections with the products, they go into store and convert. So yeah, no, I've never ever felt like we weren't taken seriously because we have a really nice balance of the loud craziness with also knowing what we're doing and I said the word before, quite articulate as well.
But that's now, right? Now that you've understood
True.
business, you know what you're doing, right?
Yeah.
In the early days, for example, when you were trying to educate people, but you were still yourself, and you were trying to get into these big PR companies and trying to get your story out there, like how would you present yourself as someone serious when you don't look like that? You know what I mean? At that time, you don't know.
We didn't cry. I wouldn't say we cried poor, but we're like, hey, like this is our business, like you know, like blah blah blah. So we kind of went like the soft, like pulled at heartstrings approach, and that worked. Like they love it. Like, and this is a great thing about, and we keep talking about sort of PR and media. They're looking for stories to write. Like they need content, right? They've got to produce stuff all the time. So like we thought we were annoying. So we would sit on LinkedIn and add 30 journalists and message them the same thing with the same picture and the same press release until one of them bit. And they all bit going, oh my God, hey guys, so good to hear from you. Oh yeah, would love to feature your story. You know, oh, why pay $5,000 to a marketing agency a month when these guys are out there looking for content and stories and articles? So if we did the whole like what is it, like young founder like call out vibe?
Yeah.
Like, hey, like we started our own business. Our one line was a barista, a hairdresser, and a real estate agent. That was our go-to line. Have launched Australia's first ever hangover prevention drink.
That's so cool.
That's
though.
nice clickbait.
It's a good
Yeah,
story.
I'd click that.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Like, so before the TikTok hooks, were like all the PR hooks. And you know, our latest one now is our Bae Juice energy drinks tackling a $1.6 billion industry. Sounds good, right? So like you got your little PR hooks that we really played on as well.
And the passion's always been there because, this is, like
Sure.
you said, we were talking before about taking the risk. So, but then you sort of start to balance that out with, industry knowledge and like Tim said, an understanding of what they want to hear on the other end. So, whilst I was wearing a blue, I like Adidas clearly. So we weren't doing that to stand out or for any other reason than that's what I wanted to wear.
It's
that
just
day.
who you are.
We
and
just
that's
happened to
your
have a meeting
style.
with Coles. So
Spot on.
anyway.
That's incredible. There's something you said earlier that you always wanted to start a business together.
Yes.
You have talked about various business ideas in the past and this one clicked. Have you done that? Like, have you tried and tested other businesses or have you just, together?
Yep.
Not before, but, we did, although we dabbled a little. We actually, the sandwich craze, it's particularly hitting up in Melbourne. We had this idea early days called Baguette Bros. It was sort of to be a bit more of a high-end,
Baguette Bros.
premium, sort of
I see it.
deli style, deli sub, like a Subway, and have a sandwich inspired by sort of different countries around the world and be a bit fresh and sort of a bit sort of cooler, I suppose, rather than the fast food style. You walk into Subways and it's like, oh, when do they mop the floors last? And, that kind of vibe, you know what I mean? So we had that, and then we launched Bae Juice. Then during COVID, we bought a food truck, and around Melbourne, how they were doing all the level crossing, sort of, all that work. There was a big site out in Coburg, so we managed to get a food truck on that, and we were thinking we're going to kill it here, and it went shit house. We did a lot
Open at 2 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, so
we
we did
2 a.m.
we did 6
Trying to do-
6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then 6 p.m. to 2 a.m. through COVID. And pretty early on, we were sort of, all these Uber Eats drivers were pulling up to the work site as well. And we're like, wow, we're selling like a 1 day old fucking schnitzel sandwich, right?
They get a fresh giant pizza.
Yeah, yeah.
Much rather than pizza.
Yeah.
Actually, should we get a pizza?
Yeah. So that didn't. Wow,
It's with the baguette one as to be relative to the audience. So we were early 20s, 21, 22. We paid $700 for a logo. It was super cool. We had an Instagram, and then we got business cards made up.
Yeah. That was step 3, get business cards.
Step 3, get business cards. And then we applied for a commercial site, and they're like, yeah, it's $45,000 a year. It's empty. We have what about a coffee machine and all the other stuff? We have $500 each. So we spent all our money on a logo and business cards, and we didn't have any money left for the actual business. And we were 21 and we were so excited. So we've had so many times. I would have made 50 Instagram accounts over time.
Same.
Yeah.
Quite
Over time
literally.
for a business idea, you're going to need to lock that down. This is it. But it's really good. I think when I was younger as well, when I finally was ready to promote an Instagram handle from a business or to promote a business, really held me accountable. So I'd really wait until going, no, this is actually going to be something we're going to have a crack at. Now I'll promote it. And now everyone's seen it. I've got to deliver. So it's actually really good accountability, social media sometimes. If you go and promote something, you've got to go and do it now because you've just gone and promote it. Oh, look at me. I'm doing this. Better go do it.
Yeah. And then we had an app idea. It was based around, I think it actually exists now.
Definitely.
But I think the name was called CV Me, which is, obviously lock that trademark down. Buy that domain. Shit name. But it was...
CV me.
Yeah, so it was around you had an app and it was mainly going to be targeted at the hospitality industry. If you run a cafe and your barista is going to go away on holiday for whatever for 2 weeks and you just need someone to come and make coffees for two weeks, you can go on this app.
There's apps now. Lots.
So
It was a good idea.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. So we loved it. We loved bouncing around like that.
And did it start like younger days? Like when you
Yeah, that would have been
Yeah.
like 18, 19, but you need like 100, 150 grand to make a really finished product, nice app. Which is,
But yeah, we were young, like just bouncing these ideas around, not wanting to work for other people, going, we'll just do it ourselves, you know, that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So we always wanted to.
So what would you say, like, to be like an entrepreneur? What's this one skill set or mindset that you would need in order to actually be like a successful entrepreneur?
You got one? I've got a couple.
Yeah, I would say like we like to think ourselves as like organized chaos
Nice.
is one I've always liked. So, you know, I think you've got to have sort of like, you know, without being really cliche and Joe Rogan here, like you got to have a risk-taking mindset, you know. You sort of have to do because there's a lot of trial and error that is involved, which is, you know, we wasted a lot of money, but we found out the things that didn't work. So, you know, you could call it wasting money, but you also could call it, you know, spending smart money to find
Learning
out that
money.
this particular thing doesn't work. Which is
Investment.
enough.
The mentality side of things is full on. Like looking back on it all, it is just naturally 7 days. Like you're not working 7 days. Like I'll roll into the office at 10 a.m. sometimes, right? Or we'll just take a Friday off. And like we've never been busier. But at like 7 p.m. on a Thursday, you might do a couple of hours. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you're never, ever really switched off. Or you'll be doom scrolling and you see an idea, then you send it to each other and like, what if we did this? What if we did that? Oh yeah, we'll not do this. And oh, how cool would this collab be? So you're just always on. And it's quite taxing.
It's very, yeah, it's kind of unique in that way because we, like, I sort of behave in this business, like, you know, in sort of ways that I remember when I was working in corporate and real estate, if I heard from anyone from my team after like 8 p.m, I would just be like, fuck it. I'd be like, you know, leave me alone. But it's like Tim's saying, it's like at 9 o'clock we might have an idea and we're, you know, chewing the fat about that, right? Over text message. Whereas if I was working for someone else in a corporate role and that, like, I would just have no desire to do that at all. So
It's always got to be on.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's hard. And another thing as well, we're very lucky that we have each other. Key. Yeah, we can touch on that. You're like...
Because it's accountability. You have someone to be accountable
but
for.
But also, like, you go on a war. Like, you need like, you know, like a mate, really. I know a few solo founders, and it looks tough. Like, tell us how tough it is.
Yeah.
And, like, they're celebrating, like, the wins with not someone else as invested as they are. So when we celebrate the wins, we get a new store or hit, like, a milestone. It's the best feeling ever sharing that together. And like even with Sumin still, like we get so excited to have a group chat about, hey, like we've just landed this, just had a meeting here, the new products arrived. It's so exciting sharing that together. Yeah. And even with Sumin as well, who's completely in another country, an ex-girlfriend, we all, like the three of us, like we reminisce all the time. Like we'll be going through our phones and like, oh, like we'll see like a photo from years ago and like share it to the group chat. Look at this. And you're like, oh my God, we've done this all together. How the fuck have we done this? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what the hell? So it's really cool. So having, we've touched on a few, but yeah, like doing it together is like
helpful.
The key.
We when we were 18, 19, were door knocking for the Peter Mac Cancer Foundation, signing people up to monthly donations, and I think that's you know, sort of helped us where we are today because. You know, we would like get a lot of rejection at the front door of someone. You go and ask out in Point Cook or out in the sticks for someone's credit card. Be prepared for some rejection.
Yeah, you would
and
have
so
built a thick skin with that.
Oh, yeah.
So we would door knock to get. We would like because we're 100% commission based job, right? And so normally you drive out there, you'd be a team of 5, and you go, "This is your area." You go. Yeah. Tim and I would be like, "Oh, well, let's just walk around together." Because then when someone would tell us to piss off at their front door, we could just like. Wait till we walk past and then, you know, sort of have a laugh about it, a couple of doors down. And that's sort of something we take into what we do now. So it's like...
I love that mindset because it's like you're getting rejected but not taking it too seriously.
Yeah,
You're not taking it... It's not personal. Rejection
Yeah,
is
right.
never personal, right?
Yeah. We'd walk away and be like, what a dickhead.
yeah. Literally. And it's like, bang, fixed straight away.
Yeah.
Straight away.
Instead of going, oh, what did I do wrong? Or this, you start
Yeah.
overthinking. We're at the next door going, hey, how are ya?
But it's so good to know that it's a 100% commission-based job, because every time they come to my door, I'm like, why are they selling this to me so hard? Like, just
seriously.
walk away. And
Yeah.
they do it so well. Like, they have a whole
It's-
pitch. And
It was
just
brutal. We made no
makes
money.
Yeah, mate.
But our boss was like, if you can stick at this for 6 months, it'll hold you in a really good stead for the rest of your life. And to touch on that as well, like thinking about all my previous jobs, like every little job helps you get to like where you want to go. Like even working at Macca's, like I learned a couple of like tricks that like I use at the cafe now. Even at the cafe, lots of things I implement into Bae Juice now. I'm sure the same, like Liam's very good with sales and on the phone all the time from real estate. You know what I mean? So like, I think it's so cool to realize that every single job I've ever had, big or small, there's little parts of it that we implement into Bae Juice now, which you would never think of, right? So I think it's really, really cool, no matter what job you're doing, in what industry or what size or how big or small it is, there's things that we've taken away from every little job over the past.
Yeah.
And we implement now.
Like
It's
there,
really cool.
there has to be something from that exposure to that environment that will be positive in the future. It has to be something.
Yeah, the door knocking especially,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. You did say that, you often think about how far you've come from when you first started. I know that you guys recently have been expanding into America.
Yep.
What's that journey been like, and where are you at with it now?
Lots of fun, a few trips over there. It was really, really good.
We spent about 5 months in New York over the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's freaking awesome.
Good life.
Awesome. New York is nuts.
Yeah.
It chewed us up and spat us out.
We get back on the plane to come home and be like, yes, we made it. Like,
We're not joking.
Nah.
It's just so, the minute you open the door, there's just no hiding.
Yeah,
You're just in the thick of it. Like, there's just no escape. But we knew how important it was to be first to market with the product. We've got multiple competitors in Australia. They are years behind us because we were first to market, the loudest, just mass market. We've gone really hard. So we're like, let's go to America and let's be first to market before anyone else does it. So we raised $1 million. We're like, let's raise some money. This is going to be easy. How do we do this? A guy messaged me on LinkedIn. Hey, dude, I represent Australia's youngest, like one of Australia's best, like youngest billionaires. He's got a family office. We love your product. We'd like to give you money. Okay, well.
So investment came to you.
So people keep asking us. People keep asking us, what's it like raising? We're like, so easy. I feel so bad.
So bad. Especially
Liam's
my
business.
girlfriend's raising money for her app. She's got a dating app. It's called Wable for people on the autism spectrum. And it is just a nightmare for her raising money at the moment.
Tech
She's just-
evaluations, all different VCs, family office, angel investors. We had a billionaire going, I drink alcohol, I like your product. And he promotes the hell out of it.
Oh.
I went and dropped some off to his hotel last night because he's in Melbourne for one night. Staying somewhere bougie, of course. But yeah, they reached out to us and goes, hey, like, do you want the money that we have? And we're like, yeah, we're going to raise money. Yeah, cool. And they're like, oh, we'll give you $250. Oh, we'll give you, we'll make it, we'll round up, we'll call it 500. Actually, we like you guys. We'll give you $750. You're like, okay. So they gave us $750,000 when we asked for $250. So they gave us $500,000 more than what we asked for.
Whoa.
So raising money's easy. No. And then all the people that have been involved with our business put some money in as well. And it was all because we said we're going to go take on the US market. Went to the US. We paid $50,000 to PR agencies in the first 6 months.
Damn.
And they got nothing.
US.
Not a single article. And we did all the PR ourselves here. Not a single article. We went out, we wined and dined everyone. We took them to dinners, took them to clubs, we had
baseball games. So,
everything,
yeah.
and not one article. It's just a big rort, the whole PR and media world over there. It's just this status, like you got clients, you go spend, maybe next month we'll get something. So we wasted all this money on all this PR. Then
We were getting billed from this PR agency for them taking someone out for coffee.
So we're like, hey, and then there was a $36
So
Uber
on
Black.
top of the retainer, so you pay an
Yeah.
enormous retainer.
And they were getting Uber Black SUVs. So we had to pay $35 for 1 kilometre, 35 USD for a 1 kilometre Uber trip. And they were just charging us. So there's just this big status facade over there, which it took us a while to learn. We went over there, eyes wide, everything's so shiny and exciting. But I guess to go back a bit as well, and this sort of just relates to our journey and kind of the people that we are and how things have just rolled for us over time. We had 3 distributor meetings set up on our first trip. We had samples and everything. We roll into a warehouse in Queens, like just dodgy, dingy warehouse, product everywhere, like cans of Coke, just shit everywhere. We roll in, it's like a really good distributor, so we really wanted to land this meeting. They had 500 stores they could get us into. We roll in, and this American dude's like, yo, man, I've had Bae Juice before. I was at like some wedding in Adelaide.
Whoa!
Yeah, he's sitting in front of you, he goes, yeah, man, this shit's sick. And we're like, oh my God, this is going so well. Like he'd get 50 products hit his desk a day. Like begging for, like all over the world would beg these guys to get them into like Brooklyn and Manhattan, and then you get the major retailers. But here's your first step. He goes, hell yeah, done, let's do it. We got a photo, sent him pallets and pallets of stock, and they got us into 300 stores in the next 6 months.
Whoa!
Because he drank Bae Juice at a wedding in Adelaide, and he's from Queens in New York. The fuck? You know, like how nuts.
So you really just need that one person.
That one person, but it's just us putting our good energy and manifesting and all this madness that we put out, and we sat at that dingy desk, and he knew who we were. Like, what are the chances? So, yeah, we got in 250 stores. We had multiple trips. We had all this press. Forbes was covering that this young Australian brand's launched in the US, and we blew $1 million like that. Oh. It just disappeared.
Down the hatch.
Like we know brands now that are raising 10 million Aussie to launch into LA in the alcohol space, and they're worried they don't have enough money. 10 million Aussie. What's that? 5 million US.
Yeah.
So yeah, we blew all the money really quickly. Trial and error only lasts so long when you're spending a lot of it, and it's capped. You know what I mean? At least we got the sales here to go, hey, we got $2,000 above what we usually have. Let's try that $2,000 on something. But when you just go on bang, 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 trial and error, we had a GM, we had 2 consultants, we had PR agencies, we had a marketing agency, we had 2 different ones over time, promised the world, delivered nothing. Like just nothing. We're doing canvas squares, you know, like not formatted on social media, and we're paying them $5,000, you know, US a month because they have these giant clients. So it was really eye-opening, amazing place to do business and to network, and the experiences that we got over there.
And we got close. We got close. We were in a couple hundred stores in Manhattan. Close. We just about to
do that alone is insane. To set up your business in America before you even get a store took 12 months. It was relentless.
And we just signed a distributor in LA for California, and then December last year we sort of just had a really honest discussion with our board, and they were just sort of like, you know, we're probably going to have to go raise money again for it. You guys got a really good thing going here. Let's get some more products. You know, we think the goal and the focus should be more products on the shelf in Australia. Let's get this really, really humming in our backyard, and then maybe look to expand further. So we sort of pulled out of the States. Everything's still set up if we want to have another crack, but you know, it's probably the right call, and
definitely
it's great now. We don't have to worry about one time zone, and we've got our new product launching sort of, you know, any day now, which is really exciting.
What is it?
It's Bae Juice Energy, so it's green pear juice and green tea extract for some natural caffeine. So we're excited at the direction that's going to take our brand from just being sort of hangover and related to alcohol. We sort of get to become a bit more lifestyle, but health, you know. Conscious brand.
We want to be a wellness brand.
Yeah.
We don't want to be the hangover dudes. We want to be a wellness brand. Sorry?
So you're taking on matcha now?
Yeah. Why not? I thought we would. Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited about that. So yeah.
The funny thing he said is we have a board that we have to speak to.
Yeah.
Speak to, no shit.
You really have a board now?
Yeah, we got 2 board members. Both of them are from family offices worth $1 billion.
Yeah.
And we have to report to them. So here we are, 24 years old, handing out Bae Juice on the corner out the front of a pub, to reporting to a board with 2 other directors on it, shareholders. It's wild.
It's one of the things
How
that-
nuts.
that-
Look at
Did
your face. It's
24-year-old Tim and Liam think that they would get here?
it's
reporting to a board with
It's
2
one of those
billionaires
things
on
that
it.
can
Nah.
sometimes feel like a burden, honestly feel like a burden, but then when you take a step back and think like, if we were 24 and we're thinking we got this board and it's a serious business now, and it's so
funny.
we're fortunate to be in this position.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is like you got a board, you're these investors, and you're raising all this money and doing millions of dollars in sales. Like, I'm so honest about it. Like, we live so paycheck to paycheck. Like, we're on such a shitty little founder wage. Like, we're close. Like, we're on the brink of that finally shifting to being on like a wage that you probably should be on to run the operations, the marketing, and all that sort of stuff, which we do.
Last ones to be paid, always.
Always. So with all this, with these boards and all this success and all these articles, we're still getting paid peanuts.
Yeah.
Really?
Isn't that funny, right?
But you-
So when I was living in the Gold Coast like 2.5 years ago, and I was like hanging out with all these young people, and I was just there just for a bit of a lifestyle escape, and everyone would pass me the bill, thinking that I was just like this boss because I owned a business and I had a couple of articles written, and I was always the brokest at the table. Still am. So I think it's really important to talk about, and especially for your audience, if they're younger and listening, like it's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And we were so naive. We were like, everyone like, oh, you won't pay yourselves for 2 years. And like,
Yeah.
cute. Have you seen us? Have you seen our business? We'll be getting paid in 2 weeks. 3 years later, we finally get on, $2.5 grand a month each. And we're living off that. Plus, he was working at a pub and I was working at a cafe the whole time. So it wasn't until 2 years ago we only just went on this full time, and we're in thousands of stores, like running a whole business and trying to build an whole empire. But he was still working at a pub and I was still at a cafe the whole time. So I think that's really important as well. Is when you start off in business, you still got to get a paycheck. You still got to work. You just got to work more. You know what I mean? Like you just got to. If you want to run on your own business and you want to still eat, you just got to work double.
Yeah.
Really, it's this harsh reality of it, but it's just.
When I was working in a marketing agency before my current job, one of the founders, he's like one of the top people in e-commerce in Australia, his name is Paul Waddy. He would always say as a founder, you should pay yourself first. And then,
Nice.
because he's
Get
like,
him on the board.
because if you don't pay yourself first, then you don't really know the real value of the business. You feel like it's doing really well, but the bottom line is so high because you're not paying yourself.
Yeah.
But if you start paying yourself like you would actually pay someone who's working in your business, then like that will really tell the value of your business. So when you're
Nice.
selling it, like that's how it will value.
Yep.
So that's why it's so important to pay yourself first.
That's really good. I love that. That's
Yeah.
great advice.
Yeah.
And it does, because then when you add a wage to everything, like, holy crap.
Right?
It just throws everything out when you finally got to a good spot. So if you do that originally, then work backwards from it, I agree that's a really good way to do it.
Yeah. You did say now you have a board that you have to report to, and
Yeah.
you said tell that to the board. Like, as somebody who doesn't know a business at the scale that you're running it, like what a board does, can you talk to me about that? Like, when did you decide to get a board? Why is it important? How does this all work?
Boards are really good for accountability. Essentially, it's an audit for the business at the stage we're at. Everything we do is questioned, rightly so. But there's a lot of belief in, they constantly tell us, whilst we don't think what you did there was the right thing, or whatever it is, or this is well done, like we love watching you guys run your business. We don't want to run it, you guys run it. So there's it's kind of a balance for us at the moment between sort of keeping us accountable, but also motivating the founders as well. So we're really lucky to have a board that is very motivating, that motivates us like day in, day out. They're heavily involved. They're always there when we need to reach out to them. So, I'm assuming there's a lot of business out there that aren't like that. So the way we're running it at the moment, it's we're very fortunate to have the people on the board that we've got, essentially.
Yeah. So it's essentially they put money in your business and they're like sleeping partners. They want you to run the business, but because their money is in it, they're invested in it as
Correct.
well.
Yeah, well said.
Right?
Yeah. So one board member's put in 700 grand, one's put in $1 million over time. And they're going, well, that's quite a financial contribution. We want a seat at the table to make sure it's all going well, so we get a return on their investment. And for us, the business is our baby. For them, this is a business transaction.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they go, we're putting in 700 grand. We want to take out 5 million. You know what I mean? Like, and then that's their tick box for their portfolio.
Yeah.
And it's sad that that's the way it is, but and that's just the fact. And my dad gave me some really great advice at the start when we did get money and we did have a board. And he goes, just remember, that's their money. It's not your money, and they're expecting a return on their investment. So you've got to work harder now, not less, because you've got the financial backing. So it was an amazing experience for us to raise the money, push refresh on the bank account when I was in. It was like fucking sick.
I can't even imagine.
Sorry, we were just refresh, screenshot, send to each other. Oh, let's go out. I'll book a restaurant. The ones that we can finally eat at are all full.
Oh my
Business
god.
meeting. Because at the end of the day, we're just real people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's sick. Seeing 6 figures in your account.
Never seen that amount of money before in your life,
So it's awesome. Like, as if it isn't. So, I don't know how we got there from talking about a board, but yeah.
But okay, so I feel like your whole journey has been like a full-on roller coaster. You have seen so much, everything. So what is this one advice both of you each would give to your younger version, knowing what you know now?
I hate these questions, not because it's a bad question, but because it's always tricky to answer. There's so many errors that you make, but then it's hard to look back and go, there's not a positive out of making that error. Like, there's a lot of little things that we messed up that have hamstrung us over the journey. Like, I think, as simple as this answer is, like, making sure all your agreements, all your legalities when you're setting up the business at ground level are watertight, the best you can possibly be, things that are going to protect you as a founder, give you control of your business at the end of the day when there might be a 50-50 sort of agreement on certain things as well. All things that we didn't have right at the start, which of course issues over the journey that we shouldn't have to worry about. So something like that was, I think at the early, we're really good at it now, but early doors, whilst we said yes, we're like, yes, man, said yes to everything. We didn't do enough shopping when it comes to PR agencies, to marketing agencies, to lawyers, things like that. So shopping around is so important because you get different opinions and then you can start to work out what's a good fit for your business. That's my advice I would give to young people, I reckon.
I'm still torn a little bit on what to say. I think we've done it pretty well.
Yeah.
So you can just be like, I feel like you've done pretty well because you have been true and authentic to yourself throughout, right?
So to branch off that, we've enjoyed the whole process. Every bit of it has been awesome. Whereas I know people that are trying to make money from a business that isn't connected to them, and it looks like a grind. It doesn't look very enjoyable. Whereas this product is a representation of us. It's loud, it's, unapologetic, it's connected to alcohol and partying and fun and, a bit of looseness connects to us. So the business is us, and we evolve, the business is evolving with us as well. So now that we're a lot healthier versions of ourselves, we're launching a new healthy energy drink to do run clubs and to exercise because we've grown with the business like that. So it's not really answering your question, but no, it didn't answer your question at all, actually.
Just being authentically yourself.
There's a good flow. The idea was more just...
Over our 6 years, we've never actually really... Only this year have we started talking about what steps do we need to take to get this business to an exit. So I think for the first 5-6 years, we've never really been focus on outcomes. Never ever. It's just
this is good.
just going with the wind. It's never been, we're going to start this business to sell it for $100 million. It's never, ever been like that for us. It's just, we still walk into Woolies, see the product on the shelf, and you have to slap yourself in the face. You go, how cool is that? You know, so, we've never really been doing this, not for the wrong reasons, but we've just been doing what feels right, I guess.
Yeah. This is what I love about you guys. Like, your energy has filled this room up. And it is so positive and so inspiring. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. It's been a good chat. Really good chat.
This has been amazing. Where can people find you if they want to reach out to you?
And get Bae Juice.
Yeah. Well, they can reach out to us on
LinkedIn.
Instagram, LinkedIn. We speak to so many people, like, weekly, I feel like. I speak to a couple of people a week that ask a question about logistics or branding or how we got into Woolies. So, never hesitate to reach out on either of those platforms and then find the product in Woolies, Dan's, BWS, local independents, hopefully Coles soon. Shouldn't say that, but that's who I've been like hiding.
Gotta manifest it.
A major retailer.
I dropped the C word, mate. I already did. I said it before.
So we caught up with them recently, so hopefully Coles soon. So, hopefully we're in every retailer soon.
And in every pantry or every fridge. And pantry because it's been kept under 30 degrees. 18 months shelf life.
Yeah, that's awesome. I see your product really working in Australia because of the culture here, right? Like, everybody loves the little bit.
We're all nuts. So, thanks so much for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on.
No worries.
Everyone watching, we'll see you in the next one. Bye. And
Adios.